What's going on, guys? I'm DJ Avee from Brooklyn, New York. I kind of came up in the time when being a DJ was more of a, I don't know, you would kind of like really have to work hard on it versus just jumping into the clubs. You kind of have to work on your craft and kind of build up to certain levels, like be it through, DJ battles or mixtapes and, helping out more established DJs. That's kind of how you kind of earned your stripes. But nowadays the game is kind of different. But back then it was really more about the skill rather than, the way it's kind of structured right now. I wasn't really around when the stuff was happening in the parks, when like the pioneers speak about it. I lived in Brooklyn. There were some older guys from my school who had like a little backyard party to school, and they had, turntables set up with a mixer in the middle, and the guy was in the front with a microphone. Not really saying structured rhymes, but to me, I just saw the way they kind of, those two people kind of controlled the entire schoolyard with what they were saying and what they were doing, and that kind of was like, it was amazing to me, and I was like, wow, I wouldn't mind being in that position one day. And, as time went on, I kind of went to a lot of hip-hop shows and, kind of started seeing the same dynamic on stage when I was seeing, people like Public Enemy perform or whatever, and I was like, damn, that really would be dope if I could do that. And then, opportunities kind of fell into place where I did DJ battles, I met some of the right people, and opportunities kept on coming, and it kind of worked out where, I got to live out some of that dream right there. So, believe it or not, I was actually in school. I actually went to Pratt Institute for architecture. So my path was actually going in a different direction. I was supposed to be an architect. And during one of our school breaks, a friend of mine, brought me to this club. It was called Club Mars or something, like Mars Bar, one of them things. And they had a DJ battle there. And that's where I saw actual competition. I was like, okay, whatever it takes, I want to do what I have to do to get the turntables. And being a student at the time, I kind of like did all kinds of ways to skimp on money, just scrounge money any way possible. And when you're in college, I don't know if they still have this thing called certain grants you would get for being a student. One time I had gotten a grant check that was obviously supposed to go towards books and all that kind of crap. I kind of just said, you know what? Let me take this in a different direction. So I took that grant money, went to, the electronics neighborhood where they had all the cool equipment for DJing, bought a set of turntables, and I said, all right, I got to make this work now because this was supposed to go towards school, but it's going here now. So I did whatever I could to make it work, studied all DJs from, back then, studying a DJ meant you would listen to the records real in-depthly or go to the shows because there weren't really that much video that you could really watch to study somebody. So, but that was the kind of beginning stages of me just, trying to make it work for me at any cost, When I first started, trying to be on the DJ scene, years back, you did what was, I guess, the thing to do back then, DJ battles and things of that sort. But as time goes on, you constantly have to reinvent yourself. Going from that element to doing a lot of underground events, and then going from that element to doing a lot of downtown parties, So every couple of years, I had to keep reinventing myself just to kind of stay relevant amongst the, the people that were, my audience at the time, And right now, I'm kind of like, doing a lot of club events that are like, a little bit more of the commercial aspect, but at the same time, I got to stay relevant at every aspect of the game because 5 years from now, the game may do a shift and I still have to adjust and adapt. So in essence, I'm playing music, just playing music. It's not a really complicated task. You're just playing music, but the way I happen to, I guess, execute that allowed me to go to certain countries, be places that I know for a fact I personally wouldn't have gotten to see. I gotten opportunities to, I've DJed for rappers like Master Ace, Al-Fura, and their global travels. They took me along, I was their DJ and things of that sort, but I got to see places, corners of the world that, I saw in school, read in books, but didn't think I would actually end up there, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's as a result of me moving the fader back and forth with the right timing, making a certain amount of people happy, and it panned out to that level, to the point where like I've finished passports, and people I grew up with, some of them haven't even gotten a passport yet, or if they have one, I've finished, I've added pages, and so it's like, to me, I look at the, if it were to not be good for me. Like from this point on, I've gotten more out of it than I expected I would have. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was just gonna play parties and just make people happy that one particular night, but who thought over 20 some odd years later, it's still part of my life. It's my living. It's my life. You know, at my level of the game, I could make a phone call, like, you know, call Eclipse or run into Torre, and these are the guys who are like at the top of the game, or they're in well, you know, really good positions, and they respect what I do. You know, I'm not front page news, but I have respect from a lot of people in the industry that I was their fans. Now, you know, full cycle, they're in my phone book, or like if I'm driving around and I see caller ID, a certain person may call me that I'm like, it still hits me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, I have an incoming call from this person right here, and they were such an influence in my life from the early days, and now we're like almost colleagues in a sense, you know, and you can't put a price tag on that, you know what I'm saying? So.